Approaching the halfway point to this year's WNBA season, the new look Liberty are 3.5 games back behind the defending champs, the Las Vegas Aces. The term super team has been thrown around to summarize New York's offseason moves, as you now have got a squad with Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, Courtney Vandersloot, and Breanna Stewart. But as expected with any new group, the path so far has not been smooth sailing. By most standards, an 11-4 record and second place heading into the All-Star break is typically pretty good, but for the New York Liberty, the expectations are high. And unless something crazy happens, which, let's be real, it's basketball, oftentimes does, most people can say pretty confidently that the WNBA championship preview is Vegas and New York. Alright, there's your context to get you caught up to speed, but I want to keep this video under 5 minutes, so let's jump into the film. The first thing you're going to see is transition. This is when New York is at their best. You saw the clips before where they look out of sync, missing some easy bunnies, just some basic mistakes. Again, that's all part of a team, learning how to play together, understanding each other's strengths, and now you're going to see New York at their best. Transition basketball and shooting the three ball. They currently have the highest three-point percentage in the WNBA, led by Sabrina Ionescu, who has really changed her shot profile. In the past, she used to settle for a lot of mid-range jumpers, especially out of the pick and roll. She's added a new skill set to her game that I've noticed right away from the start of this season, and that's the ability to shoot the three off the dribble in the pick and roll. She is not hesitating at all. She's coming off using all different sets of footwork, whether it's a hop or a 1-2, to get off the screen. Most defenses are playing drop coverage or some sort of soft conservative coverage when Sabrina is coming off of a screen, and she's been ready to pull. Along with pushing pace in transition and throwing the ball ahead, the Liberty have had a ton of success actually waiting and hitting the trail, which is most of the time Breanna Stewart, lagging behind the play for an open catch and shoot as well. And this shot is almost automatic as all of her momentum's coming in. She gets her hips underneath her and she knocks that shot down with ease. The next action I want to touch on out of transition is a double drag. Some people call it 77. I've heard it called Oklahoma. We call it something different at Quinnipiac, which I'm not going to share. But it is essentially, it could be two bigs, two guards, but as the Liberty run it, it's typically two post players who are setting screens along the three-point line, the slot areas. Typically the first screen is set on that ball side slot, and the second screen is usually around the top of the key area. Again, when you say drag, you typically mean that you're running into it. The Liberty will have it set and stationary at sometimes, but it's typically run out of transition. All right, let's take a look at the details now. In this situation, Jonquel Jones is the first screener. She's rolling to the basket. Stewie's popping. Stewie's defender helps on Courtney Vandersloot's drive. Stewie is wide open for that pick and pop. Similar scenario in this one. Instead, Stewie's the first screener, Jones is the second screener. They probably have it designated where Stewie's always popping, Jones is always rolling. In any case, Seattle tries to triple switch it. You see the confusion. Jewel Lloyd is trying to recover. Back to her girl. They're point switching. There's miscommunication, and Stewie ends up with an open three at the top of the floor. Again, none of this works without having a point guard that plays with pace off of both of these screens and knows exactly what they're looking for and which of their teammates is going where. All right, the last concept we're going to touch on are flare screens, and a set the Liberty have had a ton of success with. And starting out with a set that I love that the Liberty run. Honestly, almost everyone runs it in college and in the pros as well, but I love their different actions and their different ways to get into this set. We're going to refer to this action as horns flare or horns flip flare, where you have two screeners set on those rails, either looking to get that elbow entry or looking to set screens. It's a horns alignment. All right, you saw the set full speed. Now let's break it down. Again, horns alignment, you've got the post to guard screen that Chicago decides to switch. Williams is then blindsided with that flare screen from Dolson. Dolson recognizes that Williams is on top of her and knows to slip right to the bucket. Her slip draws Stewie's help on the weak side and leaves Stewie wide open at the top of the key for a three-point shot. And why these actions work so well is when you have smart players, you can't take away everything. You're seeing in this one, instead of a ball screen, they flip it to Stewie. Stewie flips it right back, and they get into the same action with that flare screen. Now, this time, both the defenders are worried about Stewie popping to the three-point line, so Dolson is right into that slip, and they hit her for a layup. Horns flip flare, add it to the playbook.
Liberty feed as Ionescu, not
The last thing I want to mention is the Connecticut Sun did a pretty good job defending the Liberty, forcing the ball handler to become the primary scoring action and take mid-range twos. Connecticut turned the tables on usual pick and roll coverage and actually didn't help much with the post player's defender and kind of left the guard on their own to recover so that they didn't have to overhelp and give up any shots on the perimeter. There might be something to this, but I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please sure to like it, subscribe to the channel. We got more breakdowns coming soon. Thanks for tuning in.